Thank you for being here. Welcome everybody to this Connected Therapy first week. My name is Ulysses. I'll be the presenter. We are going to be presenting this in a series of lessons during the next few weeks. I hope you enjoy. And this information can help you. The purpose of this is providing of knowledge, needed knowledge, that can help to start firing new circuitry in your brain. Knowledge has the ability to start new changes. So we're going to provide you knowledge during these weeks. We're going to show you some techniques, and we're also going to give you some tools to help you getting the changes you've been planning to have in your life. Okay, we're going to start this week. And I'm just going to bring this up. It's just amazing. This is something really, the first time that I hear about this, it just made me think profoundly. Okay. One of the famous sculptors, Michelangelo, he has these great skills. Put together, get a stone, a marble, and come up with something marvelous that was inspiring people. There's still some statues and monuments and some work that he did. But in one occasion, he was asked, okay, tell me, how can you take something so simple, okay, basically like a stone, and you turn into something marvelous? That make us reflect and make us think and make us just feel amazing. His answer was, something this line. He said that, previous to the make of this sculpture, I could see an angel inside the marble, and then I start carving so I can get it free. Now, this is how our life is. There's a lot of things on the outside. Okay, we might want to put an image. But on the outside, we might be showing something that sounds marvelous, or maybe something rough. Okay, and the intention of this lesson is for us to show you how you can really define really who you really are. Because inside ourselves, even though it might look rough, it might be dealing with some bad habits and having some behavior that maybe there's nothing that we really expect. So regardless of that, inside there is an amazing person that has the ability to love, forgive, project, create, has compassion, and amazing individual that is incapable to judge, condemn, or act against anyone. So this is the person that we want you to basically look inside, and this is the course that's going to help you to go through all this. So welcome to this Connected Therapy. Okay, so we're going to be talking to you about how we can create a new person out of ourselves. Now, in order to do that, we need to really make a transformation. Changes are, important. I mean, it'll be fool for me to think that I can be a different person tomorrow if I keep doing the same today. That won't happen. Okay, if I keep doing the same every day, let's say I'm intended to be, I want my wife to love me and improve my relationship with my kids, or have a better opportunity at work. If I keep doing what I'm doing right now, it just won't happen. It'll be crazy to think that my wife, if my relationship is not good because we have been disconnected ourselves, because I'm judging her in my mind, or because my behavior, is such that I create this distance, it'll be impossible for my wife to come and say, honey, I love you. Okay, and if I'm expecting, her to come, expecting something like this, you might think, this guy's crazy. It won't happen because my behavior is what is creating my reality. So transformation is crucial for us to make different changes in our life. Now, one thing that we have to realize here is that our personality, whatever we are, it does create our own personal reality. And that personality is made out of the way how we think. It is made out of the way how we behave. And this is made out of the way how we feel. So in order to change, and if we want to see something better, if we want to feel better, we want to feel peace, and we want to start feeling, amazing, and we want to be creative, and we want to improve our relationship, we need to make these changes. So transformation is possible, okay? And this is necessary to achieve any new results in our life. Okay, so this is something that you and I know already, but I just want to address that. Now, these changes are possible due to the plasticity of the brain. And what this means, you all know that everything that we learn from the outside world, or anything that we think, by ourselves, intimately, okay, is going to be saved into our neurons. Our brain is made of 100 billion cells. Every one single of these neurons has the ability to storage about 20,000 files. And everything we think is going to be saved right there in these neurons. So this is one thing that we have to understand. So whatever we are creating ourselves, this is the result, whatever we've been thinking for the past several years. So if I'm 34, okay, at that point, basically my brain is organized to do everything in the way I do it. Now if I'm not happy with this and I want to make changes, we need to think greater than the way how I feel. I mean, that's a little bit challenging. No, of course, if I feel insecure, how do I come out with this ability to feel differently? We're going to teach you through these lessons how to do that. Now, our thoughts, we all know, can make us sick, and we all understand this. So can our thoughts make us healthy and make us feel different? So we're going to teach you how to work with your subconscious and how to understand how to utilize some of the tools that will help you to make the changes that you expect. Okay, so we have a process, and what we're going to do through these following weeks, we're going to have different sessions every week. It'll be at the same time. You can connect, or you can have this request this through an email if you want to hear a lesson that you haven't heard because of different reasons. Okay, we're going to give you some tasks. It's going to be assignments that are going to be given. It's very important to practice this because changes will require to have to make some implicit memory, and we'll discuss about this. Okay, we have to look into your progress. You can check in this. We're going to give you a way. We're going to show you a way how you can track how your progress is going. Okay. Once you've been advanced, we're going to give you a software where you're going to have some daily practice. That is to increase your attention. Okay. We need to be able to get the memory and the ability to communicate with others. So we're going to teach you all this. Now, second part of this, and the purpose of this seminar is to provide you with the tools. Some of the areas that we're going to discuss are focus. Okay, this is very important. There's an area of the brain that actually help to retrieve, the right information that you had intended to. So your mind doesn't go somewhere else. For example, if I do want to think about, my tennis shoes because I want to go and play tennis. So my brain, okay, the area of the brain that with intention is registered is going to send a signal to the places that I have registered about my shoes. So I know exactly where to go to pick it up. It might be in the closet, it might be somewhere else. But in the same neurons, there is other information. So there is a region of the brain with certain neurons that helps to actually get the right potentialization, in the area where the registration of this information is. So I don't derive from the information. I stay focused in trying to achieve my intentions, whatever they might be. Okay, so if we have a lot of stress in the past, a lot of cortisol and some stress hormones affect the way how this communication takes place in these regions of the brain. So now I'm thinking of going and playing tennis, and then suddenly as the projection of the neurons into the place where I have the information on this, all the things I need to play tennis, could be in the closet. Okay, I need my shoes and I need my shorts and whatever I need. So the brain organizes all the information. This it takes less than 1,000 of a second. But neurons have not only one information. In the same neurons where I have registered, where the shoes are, it could be something else. It could be the colors of the eye of my wife, or it could be the experience I have when I was putting my shoes and I was arguing with my son. So anyways, to avoid to derive from this intention, so these other neurons help, to assure that, we stay focused. So if stress has been in our life, for a long period of time, staying focused is a challenge. So we're gonna give you some techniques, and we're gonna teach you salt. The next thing is, we work with metacognition. Okay. And this is the ability to be observing your thoughts, observing your emotions. Okay. And we're gonna also work with our subconscious mind, and we're gonna help modify corrosive thoughts. Now this will regulate also stress hormones, and it give you techniques and teach you, how to help to recondition your life as you improve your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. Okay, so now let's start this. Okay, I like this. This is just made me think a lot about my life. In the past, you would never drive a car by only looking at the rearview mirror. This is just a reality. Of course, this helps. This helps for me to, kind of be sure that nobody's on the left side if I'm gonna move it to the left to pass another car. Okay, and I use my rear view only for certain purpose. But what if I focus my mind in here? Okay, can be catastrophic. This is going to really make me crash. This is not only do that, but this can be, create some serious problems and damage. So unfortunately, sometimes our life we do that. Okay. Now, our attention has to be just driving forward, and this is the only way how we can go through to our destiny without any major consequences. So, in our life, okay, the direction that we take also requires focus. Okay? We focus on the future. You cannot achieve the transformation you want if you just look at the rearview mirror, by checking into your own past errors or others. Definitely, errors and mistakes and all this experience, they help, okay? But if my attention is what my uncle did 10 years ago, or what the mistake that made my son or my spouse, or any other financial issues that I have in the past, if we do that, we're definitely going to crash. And this is going to affect not only our mind, and it's going to increase, some negative emotion, but also it's going to affect my health. It's going to affect my body, because there is a very close relationship between what's happening here and the other 70 trillion cells that our body has. Because the brain communicates with our organs, okay? All these cells in my body, they need to know what's going on in the outside world, what is really happening, okay? And of course, our brain becomes a filter by which anything that I see outside is going to go through, okay? And the message my brain can send to the body, it could be, it's a fears, okay? Being afraid. Or the message can be, hey, everything is okay. So anyways, our body is very close related to our brain. And let me just explain this so we understand. And when I talk about our body, I'm talking everything. The cells in the brain, the cells that are in my liver. My liver needs to know what's going on in the outside world. Why it needs to know? Because you need to know what kind of enzymes you have to make. Okay? So it's with my pancreas. My pancreas needs to know what is going on. So why? Because, there's insulin. If it's need insulin, if it's danger out there and I have to run, of course, there has to be sugar available. Okay, there has to be distribution of these sugar and other nutrients to be sure that in the next 20 seconds I can save my life. And I'm going to just reduce this explanation in this way. Okay, here we are. Okay, and there you got your brain, and there you have here your 70 trillion cells. I'm going to put one out here just for representation. Okay, this is you, and this is your outside world. This is everything else outside. Your spouse, your son, the finances, the car you're driving, your neighbors, the weather, everything is out here. Okay. Now the brain has, it has a purpose. The job of the brain is to protect you. So Now, how it does protect you? By observing through your senses what is happening here, okay? You got your eyes, you got your ears, okay? You got your skin, you got your smell, and you have also taste. And now these senses will tell your brain what's happening out there. So now I can see a person here, you know, and this is my little son, and you know, I feel amazing. So through the senses, information passes into my brain, and the brain, you know, is great, okay? And then what happens is chemicals are being sent into every single cell. So the brain communicates with every cell through the nerve system, and it also by creating some chemicals. So now what happened here in this one cell, I saw my son, you know, there is arteries and there is, you know, a bunch of nutrients that flows through the plasma, but also this I'm going to add now. I'm going to add something else. I'm going to add neurotransmitters. These are chemicals like oxytocin, and I see my son, I feel excited about it, and I feel happy about it, and these feelings that comes along with my thoughts and whatever perception I have is going to make the brain to fire some chemicals that's going to be, you know, transferring information, and then these chemicals are going to change your body. This takes less than 1,000th of a second. Okay, and then the whole body feels good. I have more energy, and some of these neurotransmitters are called oxytocin, serotonin. We got dopamine. We got some others like vasopressin, if I'm a man. Okay, I also have endorphins. Endorphins help the body. I have, you know, a series of chemicals that immediately shoots this information. And the message is, when everything looks okay, everything is peaceful outside, there is no problem. You know, I saw my son, you know, I just filter the information through whatever I have information about my son. Here is, you know, stuff that I have to accumulate. I respect him. Okay, I know he's a good kid. And then I'm not full of, you know, fears. Voila. I have, you know, in less than 1,000th of a second, in 70 trillion cells, I have information. And then the message here is we have to regenerate, we have to repair. The message is we have to heal, okay? And then this is what it happens when these components are part of the plasma, okay? And the body heals, and the body regenerates, and the body grows. Okay, and this is basically what happened if this is what I see. But on the other hand, what if I look here and I see my son, but the information I have here in my brain is different. I have accumulated a series of thoughts, okay? My son is lazy, okay? He doesn't respect me, okay? Or he just probably don't care, or he's never gonna be anything, or he's not gonna change, okay, or he doesn't love me. So I accumulate information, and then I create circuitries in the brain. Okay, now the brain, you know, feel that something is different. Okay, so instead of sending these neurotransmitters, now the brain sends different chemicals. The message go into my 70 trillion cells. The chemistry here changes. Instead of having serotonin, I'm going to have cortisol. I'm going to have aldosterone. I'm going to have a norepinephrine, epinephrine, and these are stress hormones. Okay, the stress hormones reach every single cell in the body in a short period of time, and then this is what really happens. So as you can see, the relationship between what is going on in your mind and the rest of the body, you know, it's just so close. You cannot separate it. And this is not only something that affects, you know, all the cells that are from the neck down. This is going to affect everything in your head, even your own neurons. The same neurons where you register information and it fires this, you know, message into the body, they're also going to be affected by these chemicals that are here. And this is what is called stress. And stress is a mechanism. You know, it doesn't hurt anybody when it's real danger. But if it's psychologically, then there is a problem. And this creates a series of problems. Now, let me just talk to you about the brain. Okay, the brain is just like a camera. Okay, you will direct the lenses where you focus, and just like a camera, your brain may also magnify what you observe. When you magnify the lenses, then remember, okay, what happened? You can see it bigger, okay, and you can magnify. And then if we have some thoughts, and let's say I focus into anything in particular, so my brain will magnify that too. So we are the one that are doing that. Nobody is doing that for us. We're the one that decide where our thoughts are going to be, what we want to look into. So just like anything else, the direction and magnification of this is made to our own discretion. Okay, this is an example. Here I have a city, no? This is a part of New York. If I tell you that this is New York, and in your brain, let's say, I don't know, you like tall buildings. This is me. Okay, I love tall buildings. I don't know what's about tall buildings, but I'm sure that I have a bunch of neurons in my brain that it's related to experiences of the past or the perception I have through those experiences. And when I see tall buildings, it just makes me feel good. And then if I see this picture here, okay, my brain is going to focus on the things that are strong in my mind. So as I see, there is a lot of things here. There's cars, and there's people here, and there's some shops, and there's streets, and then there is some other buildings and so forth. But because I have built neural circuitries based on this, then my direction goes straight here, okay, as I see the picture, okay. And maybe somebody else sees something else. Somebody else is attracted by yellow cops at New York, and that might be the first thing you want to focus on, okay? Or some people that might have some thought that might say, oh, people in New York are thieves, people in New York don't respect anybody, there's a lot of traffic and there's bad people and so forth. They might want to look into the people first and say, oh my goodness, maybe these are thieves, okay? So basically, from the moment that we direct our life, when you focus, that is where your brain is going to put you. This has to do with the subconscious part of the brain, that it has a number of neurons, a big number of neurons. And basically that's where we file a lot of information that we repeat over and over until it becomes permanent. That's called implicit. And also it becomes automatic. Okay, now let's talk about changes. Since sometimes we might think, my goodness, I'm already here. Okay, I'm never going to change. I'm destined to be this person. Well, let me just give you a news. Okay, and I'm going to compare this with dollar bills. Here I got a $20 bill. I'll rip. Okay, it's wet, and there's probably has some little holes. Okay, that dollar bill has the same value as this. So let me give you a good news. Regardless of where you are and what's the situation in your family, what's the situation in your finances, what's going on with your children and the relationship you have with them, regardless of that, the value of yours, you're worth the same. Okay? And this is independent of what mistakes you have made, okay, what you've been exposed, we always want to worth the same. Okay? And this is because we are, children of God. Now, wherever we have been, whatever we've done, is not enough to remove the worth that you have for your life. Now, any expression that it might come across your mind that tells you something different, okay, is only a label. It's only a label that's been placed. And if we have labels against ourselves or somebody else, this is something it's a problem, okay? Because this gentleman here, he has the same value as this other gentleman here. The difference is there's some behavior, there's some thoughts that probably place us where we are. But it doesn't change anything in regard to the individual. I'm not, in my case, I'm not superior to anyone in the audience that's listening to me. I'm exact the same way. I'm not less, I'm not more, and so are you. So anyways, with that in mind, we can remove one of the biggest problems that humans have. They're comparing themselves. We're comparing with somebody else because I think my dollar bill worth more, okay? Because I have these nice shoes, or because I have this nice haircut, or because maybe I fit some profile, or maybe I have more money, or perhaps because I'm dressing better, or maybe because my language is better than the other one, or maybe because I speak more fluently. That is never is going to change the reality. Okay, we have, these abilities that are potential. They are right there. but they're never going to change. And that's the reason why God, he sees us all the same. And he treats us the same. And he loved one man who make this big mistake, same as this other one that is trying to pursue a better life, because the worth is the same. And then we want to start this presentation, by indicating you that you and I need to really see this clear. We have to remove this paradigm. This is just nothing but a way how we produce a great amount of damage to our own life. It has created a great lot of problems with people. Connection between individuals, the ability to be creative, this can put you into a wrong spot in your life, and it can create a lot of suffering. So let's start working with that. Let's just go to the way how we're going to work together here. And let me tell you through this course what we're going to do. Some of the techniques is going to help you to balance the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay? And this is why there's techniques that we're going to show you. This is not just to keep you entertained. The sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system are only extensions of the brain. As you can see, we are made of neurons here in the brain. There's 100 billion neurons. The brain communicates with the body with the purpose of, help to produce homeostasis, a way how internal balance can happen. Now, every organ has an influences of the sympathetic and also the parasympathetic nervous system. It's like your heart, no? Your heart contracts and dilate, contracts and dilate. How that happens is a signal through one of the sympathetic nervous system, and then for contraction, and then for relaxation, the sympathetic nervous system sends another signal. And then you have chemicals involved, electrical charges involved, but this is all message from the brain. And this is controlled through an area of the brain, but every single thing here, every area of the brain, participate in this process and these mechanisms. Okay, but anyway, this becomes automatic, so you don't have to think about, how to get your heart, to contract or dilate. All right. Now, when there is a lot of stress and it's been stressed for a long period of time, we affect this. Okay, we affect this. Because let me just explain you. When you get under stress, your sympathetic nervous system sends signals into your adrenals, right here. See, let's say I see somebody. Let's say I'm on bed. I turn around. I see somebody, and I think it's a witch. Okay. So if I think that this person is a witch, okay, immediately my brain is going to send signals to my adrenals to produce stress hormones. And what this is going to do, these hormones are going to go through the circulatory system to every single cell, and there got to be some changes. Energy is going to be redirect, so muscles will have energy, but some other places like the stomach is going to be no energy, and so it's going to happen in all this area. And basically, a lot of the organs they participate on the growing and regeneration and repair are going to be shut down. Okay, so you shut down this. Okay, and now this is a problem. Okay, this is a problem because if you continue thinking that basically the person that you just see is somebody that is creating you stress, then you're going to extend this stress mechanism. You're going to keep this sympathetic nervous system being turned on. Okay, and now I'm going to have some problems. Eventually, with time, these systems are going to be unbalanced. And some of the techniques will teach you is to do that. So we recommend you to follow the instruction. This is not only a recommendation. You really want to make changes. You have to really get the body to be involved with this. In the next week, we're going to talk more about some of the different areas of the body we're going to use to make all the changes. But there's some exercise that's going to help you to balance this, okay? Because these sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system are essential for the entire health of your body, and that's including your brain, okay? Because if I have this on for a long period of time, I'm going to have a lot of cortisol circulating to my brain, and this can even affect the way how I sleep. This will affect the way how I feel. it's going to affect production of dopamine and some of the chemicals that will help the entire body to feel healthy. Okay, so repair, regeneration, and some of these other mechanisms are going to be, blocked, and then eventually this can bring it to some serious issues. Okay, I'm going to talk about neurons a little bit. Okay, this is a picture, and actually this is a real section expanded from a very little tiny place in the brain. Brain has a body, and it has a tail. This is called axon. This is, the neurons. They have this, and they have some branches here, no? There are branches, and branches have some extensions. Now, through this part, the brain can communicate with another, the neurons can communicate with another neurons. So I have a branch here, and there's going to be a synaptic point. Okay, they don't touch together, but there's a space, and through this space, some chemicals, travel, and so, through here, and then we are going to have some neurotransmitters and chemicals that are going to be influencing, and then the message that is here can be sent to this one here, and then now this can do the same with another neuron. Okay, and then, I create what is called circuitry. Okay, now the example here on the image, it shows, just for example here, some coloring. Okay, so you can see here some color, the same color here. We're going to have the same color here, so we got neurons everywhere. Now these neurons that have the same color, they have the same information, and they kind of communicating with each other. Okay, over here I got some other ones, as you can see here. So basically, this is the way how the brain communicate. Neurons talk to each other. Okay, the information had to come, from inside the body, because there is a two ways way of communicating through the nerves. Now these axons inside the nerves, if they are long enough, because some axons are very little, some are very long. The axons that measure like 1.5 meters start in the brain, end up somewhere in your toe. So, and through that nerve, it's called nerve, once when it comes out of your head, okay, those nerves basically transport information, it goes through these, these little fibers, okay. So this is the way how, we produce. This is an example here of how this communication is going on between different neurons that actually share the same information. So let's say this is one part in the area cortex. We'll talk more in the next lessons, okay? And I have different regions of the brain, and somewhere I start the intention of, as I said before, I go and play tennis. So, and let's say, just for the heck of being an example, let's say these neurons has the information of, the white shoes that I'm going to get to play tennis, and over here I have information in regard to, the route that I have to take to go to the place to play tennis. Okay, and over here I have information in regard to, how to play tennis, etc. Okay, at the moment that I have the intention, all these neurons align together. Okay, and they're ready to start firing information back, not only into my some regions of the brain, like the thalamus, but also it's going to be shooting information to the body. So the action can start taking place. I'm going to need a little bit more energy because I now have to go from a sitting stage to a walking stage into my car. So my adrenals are going to put a little bit more of certain hormones, and then there's going to be energy distributed so I can start walking in the car, driving to the car. And once when I'm there, and it's my turn to play tennis, the amount of energy will be available in a bigger amount. So fabulous, way how our body works, our brain works. But also over here, I have, information related to something else. So I don't have just one information. And of course, this is not like pictures. No, pictures are my shoes. These are encoded into chemicals. So these chemicals, are really being used, and different neurotransmitters are being used to encode it. And of course, it's not only neurotransmitters, are neuropeptides, there's hormones, there is a bunch of other chemicals that helps to the brain to work. Okay. All right. Very good. Now, what affects the way how my brain works? What does affect the way how my body works? And we're going to discuss this, okay? Stress, basically when it's psychological, it produces a series of problems of health. It affects the brain, a lower amount of energy, okay? And of course there is dopamine. I talked to one of the neurotransmitters that help, our entire body to work and our brain. And of course motivation will be reduced because of these particular chemicals. If they're not present in the right amount in my brain, okay, it's going to be affect, my whole body, from energy to creativity to motivation, etc., etc. And there's some other chemicals like serotonin that also helps to make me feel happy, motivated also. There's oxytocin. Well, a lot of these chemicals are affected by stress. Okay, if a stress is happen because I'm in front of a lion, or somebody wants to rob me, or I'm driving and there's a truck coming in front of me. I mean, this mechanism will work for a short period of time. It's transient, and that doesn't make us sick. So basically, if stressed by danger, no big deal. As soon as the danger is finished, then everything goes back to normal. But when this is psychological, it just affects, as I say, not only the body, but affects the brain. Okay, this can bring also even to have schizophrenia. We can go into other mental illness. It can affect also by brain depression. Okay, other challenges can happen like anxiety. Anxiety can take place in our life, and this is basically all the time thinking in the same thing. I'm reinforcing the information. There is a lot of chemicals of stress that are flooding, through the plasma. My brain receives that information and affects cells that produce dopamine. Okay, there's other chemical that produce the brain. It's called benzodiazepine. Okay, this chemical help. Let's say somebody passes away or somebody breaks my heart. This is something that's difficult for an individual. Or let's say I lose a job. So what happens, of course, I'm going to suffer for a little bit, but my brain will start producing these chemicals to help to reduce anxiety, to avoid to have anxiety, because anxiety is going to affect everything. It's going to affect my cardiovascular system. It's going to affect my metabolic system. It's going to affect, my immune system. Okay, now we're gonna teach you some modulators. Okay, different outlets that we're gonna use, to regulate a little bit of the cortisol. Okay, we're gonna show you about, social support, what to avoid, what to do, and how to avoid trying to have control over everything. We'll teach you about how to interpret things. Okay, and we're gonna teach you about, how to deal with expectations. All right, now in terms of trying to change, if that requires that we start deciding what we want to do. Okay, visualization is essential for future changes. Now, this requires making goals for each area of your life. Also creating strategies. We're going to provide you with some of the strategies and the tactics, and also we're going to teach you how to evaluate the process to maintain consistency. Now, when we review the following areas of your life, please ask yourself, where am I now? Oh, and then what I want to be. Now establish your goals, okay? And you got to be specific on this as you ask yourself these questions. Now, what areas are critical? Definitely health is very, very important, okay? Why is that? Because if I'm sick, I cannot be happy. I cannot even love. I mean, not that I don't love my spouse or my children. The fact is that this special feeling that humans have has a chemical explanation behind this. Because I'm unhealthy, I cannot produce enough serotonin. I cannot produce enough oxytocin. And if I cannot produce enough oxytocin, then, I can be next to my son. I know I love him, but I just don't feel anything. Okay? And I have to push myself and put this mask. Okay? Or let's say if I know I love my father, but my health is not good, I can even be connected to him. Now, the next thing is, we're going to check where we are in a relationship with a spouse. This is good to know because you are married. This is critical for your health, and the changes need to be placed. So check where you are with the person. Okay, is there any romance? Okay, do we have just our communication is only superficial, or do I have a personal communication? Can I really talk to my spouse openly without feeling that the person is going to really criticize? Okay, if your relationship is not that good, then just write it down. Okay, this is not done with the purpose of trying to criticize what's going on the other end, but the challenge is personal. I mean, we are part of the problem, and we have to make the changes. Okay, where you are with your children, important because they're going to be your children forever, and your parents. Okay, and of course your siblings, etc. Next thing is you have a business or professional life. Try to evaluate. Okay, where am I now there? Okay, but where I want to be. So, and write it down. In your spiritual life, what's your relationship with God? Maybe you are resented. Maybe you just haven't have a good relationship with Him. Write it down. Contribution. Am I contributing anywhere? A church, a community, some kind of I'm helping, because spirituality and growth are important, and this is part of the health. This is how it will help with your health, to know where you are, because there is a straight connection between your health and what's going on with this. And we're going to talk on the next week about communication, and we're going to discuss about communication with self. Next thing, what kind of habits and additions I want to, drop it. Smoking or drinking, or perhaps, eating sodas, or eating too much, or playing, or whatever, too much TV. So, and then next, new habits that I want to begin. And in the finance area also, write down, where am I? I mean, don't be afraid to write this. This is not with the purpose of making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel, that you are not good, No, this is we need to know where we are. We have to really, really be precisely, okay? Let's call it for what it is. If in my health area, for example, I'm 30 pounds overweight or 50 pounds overweight, we need to call it for what it is, okay? I mean, I cannot say I have big bones, okay? Because, this is not real, okay? The fact is, I overweight. I need to know, okay? Because I need to know where am I right now so I can know where I want to be. So if I'm 30 pounds overweight, I want to be, with whatever I need to be, because this is critical. I know it's going to help me in the finances. We do the same, okay? Okay, we're not going to pretend anything. Neither I want you to make it bigger than what it is, because we have the tendency to do that too. Sometimes we have a problem, we just make it so big and huge. My goodness, we focus on this. I'm poor guy. I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. And then really it's not as big as we think. When we look and see in a piece of paper, it's easier, because sometimes our brain can really deceive us, because we are inducing association of information, all information. Some of the other negative thoughts, can really drive our thought to be magnified. So let's look at what it is, and then you put here what you want to do your life. Okay. I want to close this presentation. I hope you can commit to follow the direction we're going to give you in the following weeks without the goals that we're going to set. This is going to be the first one. Please write this down. This is important. Get a piece of paper, look at where you are. Okay, and let's say I have immune problem, just write it down. Okay, overweight, just write it down. Where I want to be with that, I want to be. If I have arthritis, where I want to be, I want to be healthy. Okay, please don't let anybody to tell you that this is something impossible. The body can heal any sickness. Okay, if you have been in your subconscious, put some labels about the fact that, hey, I'm born with this gene. I'm not going to change, or, this is my father's genes and not going to change. This is not real. Okay? Of course we have genes, and of course we have genetic markers, that are being passed from father to son, but these genetic markers are not going to turn on, okay, unless your behavior, unless, everything you do, your habits, are creating damage inside your cells. So basically, just put down. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get disappointed. I have this illness. This is where I want to be. Okay. I don't have energy. This is where I want to be. Okay. I have in the relationship with my spouse, okay, we have a half of the relationship. This is where I want to be. I want to have romantic relationship. Okay, if it's good, I want to get it better. Okay, if my kids, if in my relationship with the kids is not good, then that's just right. I want to be my friend. If I've been distant from my parents because I'm criticizing him all the time, just put something where you want to be. Don't worry about what they do. Don't worry about their behavior, because it has nothing to do with anybody but you. Okay? So, when it comes to changes, we have to realize one thing, and this is we're going to start next week with the fact that everything that you are, where your finances are, how your kids behave, what's happening in your relationship, how your business and profession is only a mirror. It's only a reflection of your own behavior, of your own thoughts. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a new change. Appreciate you being there. We love you. We can make a lot of changes together. Follow the instructions. Be patient. Okay, not everything can be fixed in 1 second, but we're going to teach you how to, edit it. Some of the, beliefs that are not really real, and some of these other culture beliefs, and some of these other beliefs that are going to affect your life. Thank you very much, and have a great week.